Hi guys, Carcer back again with some more games of Battlefield Gothic Armada 2. Hope you're all having a lovely weekend. As I record this, it is Saturday the 30th of May 2020, otherwise known as the start of the government-sanctioned weekend of horrifyingly reckless plague barbecues. So, hope you guys are all staying safe and don't get shot on too badly by old Papa Nurgle. So, in this first game, I'm going to be playing against the Adeptus Astartes, played by Arise Riders of Theoden. Definitely played this guy quite a few times before, going back several seasons. I'm sure he's quite an experienced player, so I should get a nice match out of it. Of course, we do now have the Skulls for the Skull Throne sale on, so I imagine we'll be seeing quite a lot of new faces in multiplayer, and it'll breathe a little bit of life back into it again. Not totally sure about those the 40k themed ships they've put into World of Warships as like a little cross promotional thing. Used to play World of Warships like back when it was first released, but not for a while now. So for my fleet though, just got the standard Blood Axe fleet with a mixture of hammers and terrors making up the bulk, and then 7 onslaughts for my escorts. The onslaughts have been split up. They're going to be capping points. They can provide a good amount of firepower, but they're not very effective against Space Marine ships, just because of the high all-round armor. Normally you can like get a little gang of things like behind an enemy ship and you can mess them up that way. I suppose they're okay for stripping shields off. But hopefully I'm going to get a good ambush off on these Astartes ships. Looks like it's all Mark 1 cruisers, so that's the variant with the launch bays. So that's cool. Normally my go-to for targeting modules on ships is the deck, just to try and get a route going, but obviously that doesn't happen with Space Marines because they know no fear. So in their case I'll generally go for the generators, just because it's hard enough to chew through all that 83 armor without the shields popping back up every once in a while. So that's what we're going to go for. Just trying to stay out the way of this beacon. Hopefully I'll just be on the edge of that when it does finally deploy. So I'm just moving left, kind of going in the same direction as the enemy fleet. He's keeping all his ships together as well. Obviously they are a hell of a lot more maneuverable than my own ships, so I need to bear that in mind. 2 escorts have been spotted over here by that beacon, but that doesn't really give anything away because we didn't know they were there because the point was getting capped anyway. Just going to hold back with the 3 escorts on the left there. Where are you?
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
Teleports up your arse. I should clarify, I am in no way, shape or form a weeb, but I've seen enough memes to understand what he's talking about, more or less. Oh, hello. Right, okay, that's good. Based on the amount of ships he's got, that's probably his only escort, so that's a super handy thing for me to kill. So we definitely want that taken out of action so it doesn't pop off a scanner pulse and ruin my fun too early in proceedings. So if I move, yeah, I'll probably move up and start capping these 2 points now. Hopefully he'll take the bait and go after the 2 escorts that are in that middle point, which will put him right in front of my fleet. Oh, okay, it's fine. Yeah, the scanner pulse didn't reveal me. That's good. So I know now that he's wasted his second scanner pulse, so that means he's probably not, yeah, what's it, 45 seconds the cooldown on that. So I don't have to worry about it too much. Although, oh shit, he's just sent out a probe directly into my ships. So that's a bummer. He maybe saw through my my little bait here with 2 escorts. So that's kind of a bummer. Although, to be honest, the Space Marine fleet doesn't really have much in the way of long-range firepower, so even though I am spotted, it's not like they can really effectively kite me. So since I had the enemy flagship just in the point closest to us, then what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and board the shit out of him. So just pulled him in with the tractor there. I did take Wa this time. Normally for my second skill I would take Stasis Bomb. But with, I don't know, with Space Marine ships being so manoeuvrable, they can often avoid them even with the tractor. Plus, to be honest, like getting the, I mean, more often than not, Space Marine ships are going to try to get in close range with you anyway, so you don't often get into a situation where you're in a chase with them. Although they do seem to be kind of hauling ass away just now. Although it's maybe just to go after my escorts rather than to get away from my fleet. And to go after my escorts, they are. But it's not a problem. We've still got 3 escorts over on the left-hand side there, who should be just about finished up capping the left-hand point. We've got a damaged engine on the enemy flagship as well, so that's good. Should be able to catch him first. So yeah, since he seems to be going the rabbiting route, what I'm going to do is target their engines instead. I did unfortunately get my strike craft caught out there by an enemy fighter squadron. So the fighter squadron combined with the anti-aircraft firepower on the ships, who are now all embraced for impact, was enough to completely take out that little strike that I had planned. But that's fine. Enemy has managed to get a couple of strike craft to land on one of my ships, but that's not a huge issue. So now everyone's just going to start going crazy with their boarding actions. I kind of wish there was a shorter cooldown for Wa. I mean, I don't often take it. It's kind of for that reason. Like the cooldown on it is ridiculously long. Like I can't think of many skills in the game that have got such a long cooldown as that. I mean, I've still got a good 77 seconds to go on that. But, oh well, regardless, we have to carry on shooting away. Should keep the enemy flagship out of action. Tractor beam is back up now, so I can just get another tractor ram. Hopefully get 4 ships caught up in this. No, I just got the 3, and one managed to miss it, just about. That's a good thing about when the Space Marine fleets do take these fleets rather than the battle barges, then your tractor cannon can be a lot more effective. Because obviously the speed and distance that you move a ship with the tractor cannon is dependent on its class. So battleships you only get moved to small amounts and slowly, whereas sort of cruisers will get they'll get thrown quite a fair distance by it. So we've got 1 ship uncrewed. Unfortunately, the flagship is mutinying, and I don't have the rally ability. No, he managed to get mutinied. So I guess he's only down to 4 crews. Probably just a combination of fires. So I'm pretty sure that his flagship was out of action when that happened, so can't have been an assassin that did it.
You have accumulated 50% of strategic points.
So this is now looking more like what I would expect an Astartes versus Orc match to resemble, which is just a big close range knife fight, which is fun. And the other problem with Space Marine ships as Orcs is that again, that 83 armor means that it's not very effective to ram them, especially if you can't put your own ships into brace for impact. I don't like to have my ships with brace for impact, just because I like to maximise my firepower, whether that be through lock on to get the extra range and crit chance, or in this case at this incredibly close range, then it's definitely best to go with reload. But that was a pretty nice little ram there. I believe that was one of the battle cruiser. Yeah, was that one of the? Yeah, that was one of the hammers. But even if you do a cruiser v cruiser ram with Orcs against Space Marines, you do have a higher hit point pool, which means I think you end up doing a bit more damage. Speaking of rams, that was an amazing little ram from the Space Marine escort there into one of my ships. But I think we've got the upper hand, especially now that my escorts have turned up. Although I have left my escorts on hold fire, unfortunately, from when they were when they were hiding out in the left of the map earlier. But it doesn't matter. We now hold 4 points. We're just about to capture the 5th point as well. And yeah, I think we're just down to 2 Space Marine ships at this point anyway. So there goes the last strike cruiser, now it's just the escort. It was pretty close though. I mean, with all the boarding, I've only really got one viable ship left. But in fact, the one ship I've got left that's got a reasonable amount of crew has got almost no hit points, so that was actually very close. Yeah, that was a fun match. Those strike cruiser fleets used to be really common. Nowadays, I tend to see more battle barges, or a mixture of battle barges and strike cruisers. Okay, and now we're on to the next one. This time we're playing against Formosa, who is taking a Chaos fleet. Looks like Thousand Suns, so we may see the cloud ability used, possibly. I don't recognise his name, so it could be that he's a new player. But yeah, we'll see how we go. Now, yeah, with Chaos, as I've mentioned in previous videos, I don't know, it's hard to know what to expect. I think at the moment the meta team seems to be carrier fleets, although you still do run into the odd just straight up kind of ranged kiting fleet. Or things like Slaughter. Yeah, Slaughters I think are the really fast ones, which can be very problematic for Orcs. Probably not so much on this map. There's a fairly good cluster of points there in the middle, so they're not all spread out. So like the fast fleets, you know, things like Dark Eldar that usually thrive well on like spread out capture point maps, they'll have a harder time on something like this. It's not the tightest triangle, but you've got like a bit of a golden triangle there in the top half of the map, but then even just like that belt of 3 points sort of right across the centre line, they're close enough together that you can defend that reasonably well. But hopefully it's not going to come to capture points anyway. What we really want to do is just shoot the piss out of the enemy fleet. So looks like we've got 4 capital ships plus and it is, yep, okay, so it's 4 Grand Cruiser carriers. I want to say Repulsive is the name of them.
The enemy has seized a strategic
After all this time, I still have no fucking clue what half the ships are called. I just think of it as the Just think of them as the it's the Chaos one that's a Grand Cruiser and a carrier. I'm thinking repulsive. We'll see. We'll see when it gets revealed. So they have sent out a brace of fighters to try and spot, and also I know there's a stealthed escort heading my way. So I want to pull my main fleet away from those escorts. Hopefully their escort's going to run into my escorts first, and then they'll both pop their beacons. And I won't reveal my cruisers and battle cruisers. Hopefully. But obviously now the Chaos... Oh, there he goes. In fact, he's over at that side. So I'm assuming he's only got one. I think that's just that same escort that I spotted over to the right. So right, in an ideal world, his 4 ships are going to move down, capture that middle point, which is what it looks like they're heading for, and then they're going to take a left and head over to the right hand side of the map, where I can intercept them nice and easily. That is my hope. But then he may just as easily decide to go the other way instead. If he goes over the left hand points from the middle, then he's got a nice bit of cloud cover, so that probably looks a bit more appealing. And now that fucking escort is heading straight back towards my main fleet, which I do not want to happen. Fuck. Ah, that's a pain in the arse. Okay, so the surprise is ruined. So yeah, now for sure the enemy's just gonna go. But okay, that's fine. It means I can take out this escort, so he's not gonna bother us anymore. Just get yeah, torn to pieces as he flies straight into my my cruisers. So it's going to be tricky to do, but I'm going to see if I can stay stealthed. I sent one group of fighters over just to try and protect my my escort ships. Well, I think one of them took a bomber, but it didn't destroy it fully, which is nice. So yeah, I'm just going to re-stealth in this gas cloud. Then I'm thinking, right, so the enemy, he's going to be sending out fighters to try and spot me, so I reckon he's going to think that I'm going to turn immediately back and head straight across to the left of the map. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn up north, head up a bit, and then cut across, and hopefully he won't see that coming. So enemy does have a slight points lead at the moment. We are on 2 points each. I am capping a 3rd point now, but he's obviously about to retake that left hand point there. So just going to move those 2 escorts, have them sitting ready up near that far north point. If I try and cap it now, he'll just go and kill them.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
And I imagine there's going to be bomber waves coming after these escorts. Fortunately, my fire is not going to hold them off for very long. Kind of debating whether to maybe send the 2 that don't have fighters on them to hide. Yeah, go for it. They're on really low health, but I mean, they can still come in handy. So if I can avoid getting them killed, I would rather do that. Although I think one of them is about to get a squadron of bombers on them. Or has he sent them both after that one ship? No, he has sent one after them. That's a pity. I don't think they're going to have enough anti-aircraft fire to take out that bomber squadron. And I don't want to send out any fighter squadrons to protect them and while I'm still stealthed up. Okay, so one of them survived. Looks like the enemy's relocated into the gas cloud. Yeah, okay, it's come back out now, so they are going for that bottom left-hand point. Yeah, these the carrier fleets, they can be a pain. Obviously, if you're playing as the Blood Axes and using the Commander training, then if you're playing a carrier heavy fleet, it's a hell of a lot easier for them to spot you. Because they've got all those fighter squadrons. But then conversely, if you play the other kind of effective orc fleet, which is an Evil Sun's fast fleets, with more battleships, then yeah, they can just kite you. They can't. Well, they kind of kite you. I mean, like the Chaos battle cruisers. No, battle cruisers. The Chaos Grand Cruisers. They're not the fastest. You will eventually catch up to them, but they can kite you enough that they can do a hell of a lot of damage using their bombers, and you don't really have the fighter cover to do anything about it. Like if all they need to do is send out one, squadron of, because it's 4 fighters per squadron with those Chaos Grand Cruisers. So that's more than enough to occupy any meager AA that you might have while they send their bombers in, and they can just decimate you. Both using the strike craft and the bombers themselves. Boop. That's kind of a bummer. I should probably have just boosted them into the cloud. I didn't notice that he'd sent bombers up there. Unfortunate. So, okay, it looks like the enemy's heading back up now. So again, I'm just going to skirt around this point here. It's all about the ambush. Although, to be fair, if he did spot me before I got to him, the combination of tethers and hammers, I've got enough strike craft that I could prevent any bombers from hitting me, more or less. I mean, he would need to send out like 3 squadrons of fighters to try and occupy my ships, and then he'd maybe only be able to get 1 bomber squadron off, per flight that he sent out.
You have accumulated 25% of strategic points.
And with the combination of my own fighters and my point defense, I'd probably be able to kill all that, while still keeping a few of my fighter squadrons alive. Oh, bugger. Okay, so the jig is about to be up. So just take brace for impact off. We're just going to go for the charge now. Let's launch off a couple of... Okay, we've done our boost. Nice stasis, and hopefully we can get both a tracked ram and a bubble if we just move this guy up. Again, with the ground cruisers, you don't move the ships a great deal, but yeah, that was sufficient to catch 2 of them, which is great, including the flagship. Looks like he's rocking Disruptor Bomb and Plasma Bomb. Oh man, yeah, I was really grouped up there, so I think they all took that, unfortunately. But yeah, these guys are brown bread, I think. These 2 closest ships. I've got a bunch of boarding actions off on, well, lightning strikes off on the second cruiser there, and I've got the flagship prioritised. Just gonna do a bit of tracked ram again, get a little bit of extra damage, extra morale. And just keeping my fighter squadrons stuck to my ships, just sort of using defensively rather than offensively. No point in just getting them all killed. They'll do a tiny bit of damage, but yeah, they'll be much more effective just sitting on my ships and blocking all those bombers. So it looks like this guy is going to try and make a bid for freedom, so I'll just drop a stasis bomb down. But yeah, for that ship down, that's it. He is still ahead on points for the moment, but I'm about to capture that central point soon. So even if he could get away, we would still be kind of on the back foot. It's all good. Didn't lose any of our ships. Could take a great deal of very much damage in any of them, to be honest. Yeah, so that was good. A little bit of farting about. It was unfortunate we got spotted at the start there. And yeah, to be honest, we probably could have even had a better engagement if he hadn't sent those fighters out and spotted the ships as it was closing in the second time. But yeah, that went pretty well. Okay, so he was like a level 22 player. Formosa. Not sure. Don't really recognise him. Okay, and in the final game of this video, we are going to be going up against Plushenubka. Hope I'm pronouncing that right, dude. I've never heard anyone say it out loud before. Plushenubka, Plushenubka. Plushenubka, I mean, I've been playing this guy since the game started, probably. Normally, I would see him playing Necrons. Necrons are definitely his race, so he's made a fair old jump to take the old Dark Eldar out. But if you're going to play Dark Eldar, then I mean, orcs and this map with spread out points is pretty much the best case scenario. So against the Dark Eldar, slightly different deployment is needed. I'm going to put 5 escorts into the left hand side there and capture that bottom left hand point. I kind of want him to think that those 5 ships, like the speed that those 5 ships are capping at, indicates that that's where some of my cruisers or battle cruisers are. So I'm thinking like 5 escorts should capture about the same rate as like a cruiser, maybe even slightly faster. And then I'm going to move the bulk of the fleet up here along with these 2 escorts, try and keep those escorts out ahead, and hopefully they will act as bait to grab something. Okay, so that ship there that's an escort. So he does seem to have a few escorts, which is not ideal. Because I really don't want all those scanner pulses mucking up my fun. I mean, if he knows where I am and he decides he doesn't want to engage, he just wants to win by caps, then I'm going to have a really bad time on this map.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
But yeah, that was a really fast cap of the top right hand point there just now, so I'm thinking that must be a battleship, and he's making a beeline for the bottom right hand capture point. So hopefully we get something good over there. Don't want my big group of 5 escorts to engage right now. I'm thinking we're probably just going to move them towards the centre of the map and just try and get them linked up with the rest of my fleet. It'll just give me more options for scanner pulsing, because you need to keep up a pretty much constant, blanket of scanner pulses. Okay, Excellent. Okay, so right, so I scanned his escort there, but then I was out of range of it because I burned retros with the cruisers. They were out of range for the return scanner pulse. So at this point, the enemy still has no idea that they're there. And there we go. Okay, so here's the enemy ship. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna turn around like I'm trying to run with my 2 escorts. Oh, it's the flagship as well. Okay, this could work out beautifully. Damn it. That was actually a really bad, that was a really bad bubble. I shouldn't have bubbled right on the edge of the range because the bubble range is slightly higher than the range of the tractor cannon. So if you do that, then he decides he's just going to boost and Wraithbone shift away, then you're kind of knackered. There's nothing you can do to stop him. Okay, so there's the other 2 ships. Got some Impaler. Yeah, it's 2 squadrons of Impalers. And looks like, yeah, it's the heavy Impaler squadrons, which means he probably doesn't have any fighters. If the battleship, the flagship he's got is the same configuration. Right, okay, so now these escorts are going to pay dividends. Okay, I'm just going to pull him in a bit closer. And get a lovely crossfire going there with my escorts and the main fleet. Let's get a boost off. Just want to make sure that we stay within that 9k range so that our mega cannons will be effective. Okay, we've done a good bit of damage, so I think I can probably just, yeah, I can happily just send the send that group of escorts to chase him down. More Impalers coming in from the enemy flagship. Kind of surprised my fighters didn't do anything about that. They just, oh well, that's fine. They've just stayed on the flag, so they're actually doing a great deal of damage to him. So I'm happy enough for them just to do the thing. I don't mind. I can take a few Impaler squadrons. Okay, well I've caught him in the bubble now, so that's good. Yeah, well, he'll be done. As soon as I get my boost up, I'll go get in and finish off the flagship. Probably should have tried to pull the other battleship into the flagship there, and then hopefully that would have got them both trapped in. Ah, right, okay. Well, it's GG anyway. Yeah, it was kind of unfortunate that he ran his flagship in particular just directly into my fleet right at the start there, even though I fucked up the stasis bubble. So he's like level 20 with them. He's using a fair amount. Yep, just 3 Impaler battleships and 3 escorts. Oh well, at least that wasn't one of those annoying drawn out cat and mouse things that you often get with the Dark Eldar. Oh well, anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you'll see a few in the multiplayer queue in the next in a few upcoming days. Obviously there is that sale on, so we should see quite a few new players, and yeah, hope to see you then. See you in the next one.